So, serious question. I'm sitting here watching the Golden Globes. Is there anything more hypocritical than everyone showing up at the Golden Globes wearing black and simultaneously using a segment to promote a movie about child pedophilia? Is there anything more hypocritical, ironic, or more Hollywood than this one particular thing? So and by the way, the name of the movie is Call Me By Your Name, and it's about a 17-year-old boy in northern Italy who's American, and he develops this affair with his father's assistant, I believe. They just promoted it a little bit ago. And it falls so in line with everything else we're seeing on social media, on Twitter. I mean, every single one of these actors and actresses who is being interviewed by E! and talking about, the reasons why it's so important to wear black and it's so important to emphasize gender equality in the workplace and all of these different things. I bet we could go back and look at the history of all of these actors and actresses and the movies that they've been in. And I bet that at some point in those movies, there was some either reference or sex scene or something that somehow contributes to this perverted sexual culture that we see. And not only that, so now we have them promoting this movie that just completely normalizes pedophilia and just portrays it as being this consensual relationship between the 17-year-old boy and a fully grown man. And I just think it's ironic. And the problem, here's the reason why. It's because Hollywood complains about gender inequality and sexual harassment in the workplace and all of these things, but they never stop to ask, why is it wrong? Why is it wrong for a man to inflict some sort of sexual contact on a woman? And the reason that it's wrong, of course, is that sex needs to be consensual, but it's also that there is a context for sex. And if you have to stop and ask what the context is, it's condemning in a lot of ways, because you have to actually take a look at what's the purpose for sex, what is the reason for sex, what is the correct context of sex. So until we address those questions, until we look at that issue, we will continue to see this hypocritical behavior from Hollywood that is everybody in the place wearing black, doing interviews about why you need to emphasize gender equality and why you need to condemn sexual harassment in the workplace. And then they'll continue to do the hypocritical thing, which is promote movies like what's the name of the movie? It's I just said it. It's Call Me By Your Name. Stuff like that. Absolutely hypocritical. I mean, you can't say one thing and do the other. You can't promote child pedophilia. You can't promote a movie that normalizes a sexual relationship between a grown man and a 17-year-old boy, and also at the same time condemn sexuality outside of the appropriate context. You can't do both. So I just think it's insane. And we will continue to see this as time goes on. I've done videos about this before. Nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change until we address porn. Nothing is going to change until we address, in general, the inappropriate contexts that people continue to place sex in. And the reality is that there's an appropriate context for sex. And more often than not, Hollywood takes sex out of its appropriate context, and that is the reason that we see what we see, not only in Hollywood, but just in general in society and in the world. That is why we see what we see. So I just needed to comment on that. If you weren't watching in the beginning, I'm commenting on the irony and the hypocrisy of everyone in Hollywood showing up to the Golden Globes wearing black because they want to, speak out about gender inequality, and they want to speak out about, sexual harassment in the workplace. But then they use a segment during the Golden Globes to promote a movie called, I keep forgetting the name of it, called Call Me By Your Name, which promotes and normalizes child pedophilia. It's a movie about a quote-unquote consensual relationship between a 17-year-old boy and a grown man. So, you know what? Call me when you're condemning these storylines, because this is the other thing. So Justin Timberlake, I love Justin Timberlake. I love his music. I really like him. I really like him. But he tweeted a picture of himself wearing a black suit with a black tie and a black shirt, and used, the hashtag, I don't know what it is, it's like the Time's Up or whatever hashtag. And he's in a movie that's being released by Woody Allen, like in the next couple of months. Woody Allen is like one of the number one people in Hollywood that they say is guilty of all of this stuff, of this sexual harassment and, forcing women to do things that they don't need to do for parts in his movies. It's outrageous. This is just like, it's PR. This is all PR. This is all for money for their movies, and so that people, because the other thing about this that I've been thinking this whole night, you know what they're doing? They're wearing black. They're all posting on social media about the Golden Globes, because ratings for all of these award shows have been tanking the last 2 years, like absolutely tanking. Since 2016, when Meryl Streep got up there and gave her stupid speech about Trump, ratings for all of these award shows have been tanking. This is PR. This is how you get people to watch a television show when they don't want to watch it anymore. So, quite frankly, it's just BS. It's crap. I mean, and anyone, people can say otherwise, but it's just ridiculous. Actually go out and do something. And you know how you do something? You do something by putting sex within the context it's supposed to be in. And you stop normalizing and, movies are like the primary source of cultural pressure and cultural, movies and pop culture just affect our culture so much, and affect what we accept in our culture and what we normalize in our culture so much. So until these people stop doing things like normalizing child pedophilia in society, their opinions are meaningless. They're absolutely meaningless to me. So just a thought. It's just PR. It's PR. It's all it's for money. So I think it's crap. And context. It's about putting sex back into its appropriate context, which is marriage and family. And until we go back there, which I have very little hope that we'll ever get to that place. Until we go back there, none of this will go away. Things will stay exactly the way that they are, and that is a promise.